First of all, again, I'm not an alim. You have to make sure that you speak to an alim about these specific things. But from my research, income protection is a form of insurance, optional insurance that you don't need, right? For example, car insurance in most countries is compulsory. So there's an exception in the Sharia for things like that are compulsory, right? But work insurance, income protection is not compulsory, it's optional, right? So optional insurance is not permissible in Islam, right? To a certain extent, yes, you are taking more risk from that side if you are not going to take insurance like income protection. But then you have to understand you're making the sacrifice for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And with all of these really difficult financial decisions, right? Like not taking a mortgage, like not having income protection, you need to make a contract with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if you're going to make the decision not to do that, which I hope you do, you are only making that decision for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is completely acceptable and encouraged to make a verbal contract with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say to him, listen, Ya Allah, I'm making this decision to avoid these haram financial practices for your sake and no one else's. There's literally no other being that I would sacrifice these things for except for you. So if you make a verbal contract with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and then you say, please give me something better, in what world will he not give you something better? Because you are making a sacrifice for his sake. So if you are going to make a sacrifice, tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, I'm doing this for you. I'm not doing it for anyone else. Please give me something better. And he will give you something better. Okay. But from a practical side, we first of all, understand why income protection is not encouraged. And we stay away from income protection because it's not acceptable in the Sharia. And then you have to put contingencies in place. Okay, so on one hand, yes, fair enough. We're not allowed income protection. That doesn't mean we're not allowed to protect ourselves in any way. We can still protect ourselves. We just have to come at it from a different angle. Okay, so the angle that we are going to come from it is basically a private pension, a private investment portfolio that you are going to invest into a range of different assets, a beautiful, well-diversified portfolio that is going to be resilient, right? That is what we want for you, financial resilience. So that even though you don't have income protection, you are financially resilient enough that you are covered in case something happens. You are covered in case you lose your job. You are covered in case something crazy happens to the financial world. And yes, there are still avenues that we can help you structure your finances, structure your investments in a way that are so resilient that even if there's a financial crash, you still protect yourself. So that's our goal, is to first understand why we are not allowed income protection and then put contingencies in place, which is a beautiful, well-diversified investment portfolio where you're investing into stocks and crypto and gold and property and alternative assets, some of which are just long-term capital growth and others which might bring you dividends, pay you dividends regularly, either monthly or quarterly or annually. They pay you cash flow. This is all possible. But when you don't know what's out there, when you don't know what options are available to you, you are not going to understand what options you have, right? It's the exact same position where we teach dentists how to increase their bottom line, how to upsell to private dentistry more from NHS, right? That one of the major reasons, especially if you're mostly NHS, one of the major reasons why you are not able to sell more private dentistry is because you are not offering your patients all of the options. And your patients were not trained in dental school. They don't know what dental clinical treatment options are available to them unless you tell them, okay? So you have to explain all of the options that are available to this patient specific to their situation. And then they have the freedom and the understanding and the knowledge to accept whatever treatment plan and treatment options that they want to accept. This is another thing that's really important, is that until you learn what is out there, you are going to think that, oh, the financial world is so difficult. There's so much haram out there. It's impossible to invest without getting into something haram. So I'm either going to, this is what people do, right? Two things. They'll say that, oh, it's so difficult to invest in a halal way, so I'm just going to not invest altogether, right? So they play the defeatist game. Or they'll say, oh, it's so difficult to invest into halal assets that I'm just going to invest. And I don't care whether it's really haram or halal. I'm just going to invest, and I'm going to make the excuse, hopefully, that, oh, it was so difficult that I didn't know what was haram or halal, so I just invested and I had to invest. So please forgive me. No, that's not acceptable. All right. When you understand the options that are available out in the investment markets and how many different options there are in each different asset class, you will then understand that there are so many hundreds of investment opportunities that are fully 100% Sharia compliant. But until you understand, until you learn what is out there and what is available, you are not going to know, you are not going to understand. And you're going to either continue to think that all investments are haram, so you're going to avoid it all, or you're going to think that, oh, all investment was so difficult to tell what's haram or halal, I was going to invest as best as possible, and inshallah, I hope Allah will forgive me. That's not acceptable, okay? That's not acceptable in any facet of life. So don't make it acceptable for your finances. And I'm telling you, when you make a sacrifice for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I've seen this in my own life. I have seen it in my clients. The majority of my clients are practicing Muslims. I have seen it in my family. I have seen it in the people that I have been acquainted with for the last 10, 15 years. As I was growing up, I saw the consequences of haram income in a household, and I saw the consequences of halal income in a household. All right? Make sacrifices for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you might not see an avenue where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you something better, but He will give you something better. You just have to have faith, and He will give you something so much better, inshallah ta'ala. Listen, at the end of the day, this is exactly what we teach. If you want to learn this by yourself, then please learn. Take the step now. Start learning. Start watching videos. Go on the internet. Find articles, reliable articles, and start learning how to do this yourself. Okay? At the end of the day, it's probably going to take you a little bit longer. You're probably going to make mistakes. You're probably going to lose quite a bit of money, right? That's the experience I've had before clients have joined us, but it's fine. If you want to learn this yourself, then please learn it yourself. I don't care whether you learn it yourself or you come to us, all right? But if you want to skip all that BS and you want to learn from a mentor, from a group of dentists and group of professionals who are practicing, who have the same goals as you, have the same priorities in life than you, then reach out to us. And inshallah, we'll see your situation. We have a very strict criteria for who we accept. Okay, we turn away a lot more than people than we accept. But the first step is to reach out to us. Apply if you are suitable. If you come to us with the right mindset, if we have spaces, inshallah, then we will help you out. Take care, inshallah.